Okay, I think I'm live. I know I always say that at the beginning. Gonna refresh my page. Yeah, there it is. So, hi everyone. Welcome to another YouTube live session, scrapbooking session on the Pinkfir Studio channel. And today we are going to create a holiday themed layout with the new Holiday Dreams collection. And I will show you in a second what I have planned for today, or I have a rough plan at least. But I'm going to wait a few moments so that more people can find us, and just do a little bit of housekeeping, so to speak, just some information for you. So first of all, if you're new here, in every YouTube live session, we are giving away a $15 gift card to the Pinkfir Studio online shop. And all you have to do is be active in the chat. So every time you post something in the chat, you are entered to be eligible to win the $15 gift card. So if you have questions, let us know in the chat and I will try to answer them. Or if I miss them, Heather is also here. Hi, Heather, behind the Pinkfir Studio name, helping me out. And if I don't see something, she can, chime in. And yeah, I think that's mostly it. Today is going to be a 90 minutes, so 1.5 hours session. And I have a few things planned. I'm sorry for the noise in the background. That is my printer because I decided kind of last minute to print my photo again in a different size because I'm not sure which size I'm going to be working with for today's page. So it's done now. And yeah. So hi everyone. Hi Betty, Melanie. Yeah. So I'm going to flip my camera to show you what I have on my desk so far. So I have the new Holiday Dreams collection and I haven't created a project with it so far. So this is my first project with this collection. You can see here I've got the ephemera pieces and then here's all of the embellishments and the 12 by 12 papers. And I also have the 6 by 6 paper pad because sometimes I like working with this size rather than the large papers. And you can see, so I actually have my photos like in 3 different sizes. Let me grab the freshly printed ones. So I have 3 different sizes of my photos because this one, so these were actually left over from a different project and they are too small for what I have in mind. They would be lost on the page. So I printed them again in this size. So it's a 4 by 6 inch sheet and 2 photos. So they measure roughly 3 by 4 inches, a little bit smaller than that. And then I have a similar photo in a large version. So this is just, I kind of blew it up. It's not a full 8.5 by 11 inch. It's something smaller. And you will see in a second why I might want to use such a large photo. Let me switch. Okay. Yeah, so let me show you what my idea for today was. So every time I think of Christmas or Christmas layout, a wreath comes into my mind. I think, everyone or almost everyone has some kind of Christmas wreath either on their door or on a table or something like that. And some of the illustrations in this collection lend themselves perfectly for it. So you have lots of like these little holly leaves and some other kind of leaves that you could fussy cut. You can see here I already went ahead and fussy cut some of those. Then here are some more that you could cut out. Here are some in different colors. So you could create a wreath with those. And in the ephemera pack, there are also some of the leaves. So I already went ahead and cut a circle frame. For this I use, so if you have an electronic die cutting machine, you could use that. If you don't have, because for this, so this, let me check the measurements real quick. So this measures, the outside is 8 inches, the inside is 7 inches diameter. So it's probably too large for most die cutting machines, and you probably wouldn't have a die that is this big. But what you could do is just grab a bowl from a kitchen or a plate or something and draw it on a piece of paper and cut it by hand, or use an electronic die cutting machine, or I used my circle cutting tool. So the circle spin and trim, which always comes in handy for cutting circles in different sizes. And what I thought I would do is create a wreath, as I said, use some of the leaves that I fussy cut that are in the collection, maybe some from the embellishments, from the ephemera, but mostly I wanted to include some hand-cut ones and maybe also some folded ones for lots of dimension. And I already went ahead and prepared some of these because they are a little bit time consuming, and you know, I don't want you to watch me 2 or 1.5 hours just folding paper. So you can see here, I already cut some kind of holly looking leaves, some other types of leaves, just kind of free-handed it. And then I also created some dimensional ones from some paper that I just painted with the Pinkford Studio inks, and also from some vellum. I'm not sure if you can really see it. And I'm not going to use all of them because you can see the greens are quite different, and I don't want to mix all of these greens together. But I was just trying a few things out, and I will see in the end which ones, you know, will make it onto the page. But yeah, this was the initial idea. And then the reason I have 2 different sizes for the photos is that I was thinking to put my photo inside the wreath, which is kind of the obvious choice, but also, you know, is a perfect place for a really large photo. And I printed it in black and white because there will be quite a lot of colors or quite a lot of things on the wreath, and I don't want my photo to get lost. Or this is why I printed the smaller ones. Use these and kind of place them onto the wreath and just have the rest of the leaves kind of around them, arranged around them. And to make them stand out a little bit more, I was thinking of using some of the chipboard frames so that they would, you know, stand out against the wreath. So something like this. So I'm not 100% sure yet which way I'm going, because I'm going to start creating the wreath, and then I will see which combination I like best. And another thing, I do have some like leftover pieces from some projects with the holiday card release from, I think, 2 months ago. So there are a few snowflakes that are die cut with the large snowflake dies. And then there are some of these phrase banners from one of the stamp sets with coordinating dies, and more of the snowflakes in like gold glitter ones. Then these ones here are from this stamp set. So this is the Festive Tickets product suite. And I was thinking of maybe mixing in a few of these elements into my wreath, because I thought that, you know, to kind of break this up, because I will have lots of leaves, I would like to have something like the candy cane, or maybe this car or something that would look really cute in between all of those leaves. So I was thinking of maybe doing some heat embossing or stamping, heat embossing and stenciling with this set, but I will see, you know, how much time I have, how far I will come, and if it's really necessary for what I have in mind. So just, you know, a few things that I have prepared. And I will show you how to fold some of these leaves. As I said, I prepared quite a few. because I don't want to bore you with just folding all of the leaves, but I will show you 2 or 3 so that you can get an idea of how this works. And one thing, so you can see that my wreath, or this circle frame that I cut, is a different white than my background, but I'm not worried about that because I was thinking of, having this whole frame covered with these elements anyway, so you won't be seeing any of this of the frame. But you could definitely also cut the frame from like one of the pattern papers or the same kind of white so that it doesn't stand out against it, or from something like this. So this would also look really nice as a wreath, and then you wouldn't have to place your elements on the whole frame. But so it's a pity that I have this sheet only once, because I kind of want to use some of the cut apart elements, but I also would like to use this as a background. So we will see how it goes. And then for some of these dimensional leaves that I already prepared, so these 2, for example, what I did was, so you can see here, for example, I used the four of the new ink colors, Sage, Eucalyptus, Spruce Tips, and Lush Forest, to color just, these were just scraps of white cardstock that I had left. And I just colored them, no rhyme or reason to it, just simply pressing this onto a piece of plastic, and then with a brush, some water, and this paper, I just painted them. And then in the end, when it was dry, I spritzed some of the calico white ink onto it for a little bit of a snow effect. I'm not sure if this shows on camera really well. So this was, one idea for how you can make your own paper to make those dimensional leaves. Because in the collection, even though there are quite a few greens, there are not too many papers that would work for creating these dimensional leaves, because they have, like these, for example, they are great for cutting them out, but it wouldn't work too well for the dimensional ones. And this one as well, because it has the red. This might work a little bit better. This doesn't really. So, and this one is a little bit too mint. So I tried it, but I don't know. It's not, at least not the look that I was going for with my idea. Although you could definitely make a wreath in just kind of like pastel colors, like this light pink, light blue, and mint. I think that would also look good. But this is not what I'm going for today. So I'm going to show you real quick how to make some of these leaves so that we can get started. So all you need is, as I said, some piece of paper. This would also work great with like some scraps that you have left of some pattern papers, or like just colored cardstock, for example. And then you can make them in different sizes, and depending on what kind of shape and size you want them to be in the end, that determines how you would cut your paper. So you can see here is a really long and thin one. I'm going to show you how to make one of these. Let me just clear everything off a little bit. So what you could do is take for a larger one and large and thin one like this, you would need one rectangular piece that's quite long and thin. So this one is just the rest. This is like 1 3/4 by 7 inches. But as I said, you can just use what you have left. There's no need to measure anything. I didn't measure anything in the beginning. Then you fold it in half like this. And then you find your scissors and you just cut it into a triangle. When you fold it up, it looks like this. And you take your scoreboard and bone folder. And you can, so depending on how far apart you space your score lines, this will determine how thick your leaves are going to be. So I scored mine every 1/4 inch. So obviously the thickness of this leaf will be 1/4 inch. If you score them only every 1/2 inch, you will have a 1/2 inch thick leaf, which for a layout might be a little bit too much. But if you do less than 1/4 inch, it will become really, really difficult to fold it up, because in the end it's still cardstock, you know, it has a certain thickness. So I think 1/4 inch is the right spacing. So I'm scoring it just every 1/4 inch right now. And then all you do is just fold this up, like alternating. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because in the end you won't really see if if some of the score lines are a little bit crooked. That's not a big deal. And then just go ahead and kind of reinforce the folds. And then you fold it up, you know, pushing the two longer sides together like this. And then you have your first leaf. And then you can either use some double-sided tape or just some liquid adhesive, depending on, you know, what you like best. And sometimes it also depends on how strong your double-sided tape is, because if it's not strong enough, then your leaves might just pop open again. But you can just try it out, and if they do come apart, then you can go ahead and use some liquid adhesive. And if your paper is really, really, you know, not working with you, then you could use a glue gun, a hot glue gun. So this is the first one. And it's really easy, but it's just a little bit time consuming. So this is why I didn't want to, or this is why I already went ahead and prepared a few. And you can see, so I'm going to show you 2 more shapes. So this was the long, thin one, kind of spiky one. And then for the next one, you would use, let's see, because my papers are not really large enough for what I want to show you now. So let's see what kind of pattern paper would work with my self-made paper, like color-wise. Because this one, even though I like it, how it looks on the holly leaves, it doesn't work too well with this green. So I'm not going to use that one. Oh, thank you, everyone. I'm glad you are enjoying this tip. Let's see. Actually, as I said, it's not like I love the papers in the collection, don't get me wrong. But for what I need right now, there are not really any that work too well with this. So I'm going to show you on a piece of white cardstock, 2 of the other shapes. So for the next one, I'm going to cut a piece that measures like roughly 3 by 4 inches. Roxanne, yes. So I have linked all of the products I'm using today in the description below, at least all of the elements of the Holiday Dreams collection and also the Festive Tickets product suite, because I was, you know, kind of thinking I will use this. But if I will use any other things that aren't listed, I will go back into the description after this live session and add those as well. Okay, so this one, as I said, measures roughly 3 by 4 inches. I'm going to fold it in half again. And then you can either take a pencil or you can just freehand it. I'm going to draw it with a pencil just so you can see better what I'm cutting. So for a different shape, what you can do is kind of do like this, like a little bit like a scallop edge. And as I said, this doesn't have to be perfect. So you would just go ahead and cut these little scallops. And again, fold it up. So now it looks like this. And now go back to scoring this thing. Again, every 1/4 of an inch. This makes it also really quick because you don't have to do a lot of thinking. And if your paper keeps moving on you, then you could also tape it down on your scoreboard. Thank you, Melanie. Yes, the candy cane pencil. I saw it and I had to have it. I thought it would be the perfect kind of photo prop for holiday themed projects. So again, I'm just gonna fold this up. And you can find lots of tutorials for these folded leaves online as well. So this is by no means something that I thought of. And there are tons of different shapes that you could create. So this one, I'm going to go ahead and glue it together so that you can see the final shape. And this is what this shape will look like when it's all folded up. So it does have these scalloped edges. And then, so we have this one. And then you can also make one that looks a little bit more like an, what's the correct term in English? Is it, I think it's Acer? No. Let me check real quick. Maple, that's the one I was looking for. But I think Acer could also be used, right? Oh, that's true, Heather. So you could also, if you do like this sort of scalloped shape, you could also use them as shells instead of leaves. You know, if you just change up the papers that or colors that you're using, they will work as shells really well too. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to create this sort of maple-ish leaf. It's not a perfect maple leaf by no means. And I have, so this one is also, I think, roughly 3 by 4 inches, something like that. And for that, you would go ahead and not create scallops, but the other way around. So you would do it like this and just move, you know, towards the tip. So you have your fold line here, and then you would do something like this. You could also do a few less and just, you know, just like this. So I'm going to go with the second line. And as I said, you can also just freehand this. No need to draw it. And then it looks something like this. And you can play around with different shapes. Just, you know, try cutting your folded piece into different shapes and then score it and just find out what it looks like when it's all folded up. So just have some fun playing around with this. And then once again, folding it all up. And as I said, so this is the last one that I'm going to show you step by step, because then it's basically just repeating the same process again. And I don't want to bore you. And then folding it up. And they would look perfect, obviously, on an autumn themed layout as well. So if you just choose some autumn colors, they would look great on a layout or a card. You could also just, use them on a card, or you could actually create some home decoration and do your own little actual wreath for the wall with it, something like this. And then if you're not happy with, how the shape turned out, you can also go back in and just trim it a little bit more to what you want to have. Just, as I said, just play around with it a little bit. Brenda, so the trimmer and scoreboard that I'm using is the We Are Memory Keepers all-in-one tool. So it has the paper trimmer, up to 14 inches, the scoreboard, and a few other features as well. So like envelope punch, bow tie thing, tag punch, something like this. But I'm basically 99% of the time I'm using it for cutting and scoring. Okay, so this is how you would end up with sort of a maple-ish leaf. Now, what I also wanted to do, as I said, is make some holly leaves, because I don't want to have just the dimensional ones on this wreath, because that would be too much for a layout, not for a wreath that you would put on a wall, but for a layout, I think it's a bit too much. And I already went ahead and created a few from vellum. These were just some vellum scraps I had left, so I didn't cut into a new sheet, but I thought, I can just go ahead and prepare a few from vellum. And they are really easy to make. So you could, again, make yourself like a template if you wanted to. Or you can also just freehand it. And you can see, so I have this. So this was already cut up. As I said, this was a scrap that I had left from a different project, but I didn't want to waste this cardstock. And these little squares are just enough for cutting some holly leaves from them. Now for this, what you can do is also, again, just fold it in half. This makes your life a little bit easier. You can also, again, just freehand it. So my fold line is in the middle or to the left. And then if you want to draw it first, you can go ahead and just draw like a holly leaf shape. So just some pointy edges and back towards the center. And make sure that you draw your pencil lines on the back side so that you don't have to go back and erase them. And then you have yourself some holly leaves. Obviously, you could change up the size, make it a few smaller ones, a few larger ones, thicker, thinner, whatever you like. And if you really want to go all out, you could use like a gold pen or something to draw on the veins of the leaf, or you could even stitch them. So, you can go crazy if you like to. Okay. Just checking for comments to make sure that I'm not missing any questions. So I'm going to go ahead and make one more of this. So I'm going to use this sheet because it has a little bit of a darker green. Yeah. And if it's, as I said, if it's too, like, still too thick, for example, you can just go back in and trim it until you're happy. And this is the perfect thing to use up paper scraps, which I love doing. Okay, I'm not going to make any more leaves right now because I first want to see how far I can get with the ones that I have so far. And then we will see, I will see if I need to cut more or if it's enough. And so these were also ones, as I said, that I already fussy cut from one of the papers. And those work with the ones that I like with my handmade paper, because I think the green, it still works with this one. It's more of a like a bluish green. Okay. And you know what? As I said in the beginning that I didn't mind that this is not the same white because I'm planning on covering this whole thing. But what I didn't think of when making this, because I made this before I made the leaves, is that with the vellum leaves, you kind of can obviously see through them and you can see this sort of yellowish white. And, some people don't mind that, but having different tones of white on the same project really drives me nuts. So I think I'm going to go ahead and cut a second frame real quick, because as I said, this is going to drive me insane. And if I'm going to do all of the work, folding all of these leaves and everything, and then I don't want to end up not liking my project just because I didn't go with the correct white. So yeah, I'm sorry for that, but we're going to cut another frame real quick. I'm going to do an 8-inch frame as I had before, but I'm going to do it a little bit thinner. So this is 8-inch, 7-inch, but I'm going to do 8 and 8.5, 7.5. So the frame is a little bit thinner, and I don't have to, and you won't see even, or you will see even less of it. We'll have to tape it down probably. Because it does, I think it's moving on me. Okay. Sorry, I have to grab some tape real quick. Now I'm confused. Oh no, the inside measure is 6 inches right now. So the outside 8 and his inside 6. So I'm going to do 8 and 7. I was wondering why it is so thin, because that is too thin. Okay. Sorry about that. So I'm going to do 8 and 7. Wow. I knew it. So that's the only thing with this. If you can't keep your paper in place, And it always moves on you when you're trying to turn the blade. That's something they didn't really think through. But anyway, we're going to go with it. Okay. So it's not a big issue that I cut into part of this frame here, because I will put the leaves on top, so you won't see that. I don't mind that. I can still use it on my background. So you can see it's the same tone of white. That makes me happy. All right, so let's go ahead, and I'm just going to go ahead and try to see how much I can already cover with the leaves that I have. And to see if I need to make more, or what kind of leaves I need more of. I'm just going to go ahead and, just arrange them. And we will do some tweaking later. And I'm also going to see if I actually want to cover the whole wreath with the leaves, or if I want to maybe leave the top part open, because I have another idea for that, for what we could do up here if we don't put leaves around the whole thing. Yeah, I'm gonna put a different paper underneath so that you can see. Let me grab a dark one, or at least a colored one, in a second. So let me see. That works better. Becky, the circle cutter is We Are Memory Keepers as well. It's one of their tools. I'm not sure if there's a different brand that has something similar, but that's just the one that I'm using. So I hope you can see better, although the white on white is not ideal either. But I think this will have to do, because I don't want to put this green underneath, because as I said, these two greens don't work together, and that is going to kind of throw me off while putting everything together. So I hope that works. Let me know. Oh, thank you. Well, I'm not sure if I would say I speak English very well, but I can manage. I started English in school. So I'm from Germany, and here, so when I was in school, like in primary school, at least it was that you started English in the 3rd grade. So with 8 years, I started learning English, and then I had English as a subject until my A-levels. And then after that, I studied English at university to become a teacher. So for English and Spanish, actually. So I did finish my teacher training, my studies, everything, to become a teacher for English and Spanish. And as soon as I finished my teacher training, I decided that that's not what I want to do anymore. So yeah, I didn't work as a teacher after that anymore. Apart from, now actually teaching scrapbooking workshops. So I'm still kind of a teacher, but not the one that I studied for. Amy, yes, this is going to be a wreath frame with some dimensional leaves that we made ourselves, or I made myself. But if you make this, then yes, you can make these yourself too. So I think I'm actually I'm not sure if I want to do the whole thing or not. Let me pull them apart a little bit just to see if I actually want to go the whole frame with leaves, or if I want to keep it contained to the lower half. So this is right now just, I'm just kind of throwing it on there just to see if I want to do it like that or not. This is not how it's going to look at the end. Don't worry. I'm kind of torn. So I'm going to show you what I had in mind in case I leave the top part open. Because even though now this white does, or is the same as the white, as my white background, it's still kind of plain and I don't know, not too pretty. So what I was thinking is to maybe wrap some twine around it to cover the part that is not covered by leaves. So I'm thinking of, first of all, now actually adhering the leaves onto my wreath on the lower half, and then I can wrap my twine around, or I can see, or the ribbon. No, it's twine. And then I could still add more leaves if I want to, but I think I'm going to go with the lower half as well. So let me grab this because I don't want to do my gluing on this nice piece of paper and ruin it. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these down. And I'm actually going to use a glue gun because you could definitely use just liquid adhesive with these. That works as well. But it does take a little bit of time to dry, just so that they don't keep moving on you. And I don't have that time right now. So if I'm using a hot glue gun, then once it dries, it's kind of, they're going to be stuck. So that's what I'm thinking. All right. So let me see. While this one is heating up, I'm going to look through the ephemera real quick to see if there are any pieces that I want to use. I think this one, I'm just gonna cut the white border a little bit. Here's another one I could use. One more that I fussy cut. And then we can definitely also kind of put some of the other embellishments in between, because I think that's going to kind of break up the leaves and add a little bit of, a little something in between. So I'm going to grab the spinners real quick. Just to see, obviously, I'm going to use enamel dots at the end because I can't not use them. Okay. Just so I can see if I want to add anything so that I don't forget in the end. Okay, I think I can also work in maybe, the snowflake or something, or this gift. So yeah, definitely going to keep this out. And I think I might actually use the 2 leaves that I made with white cardstock. We will see. I'm gonna go ahead and do the spiky one first. And as I said, you could definitely use just liquid adhesive, and just press down the leaves and let them sit for a while until they are completely dry. But I don't have the time right now and the patience, so I'm just going to go ahead and use my glue gun. But otherwise, you could definitely use liquid adhesive. So this is just a glue gun. It doesn't have to, like, the shape of like glue guns you normally see in crafting, but this one is really nice because it's just like a pen. So it's a little bit more portable, and it works with batteries. So no need to plug it in. Don't forget about my ivy type leaves. The only thing that I don't really like about glue guns is these kind of glue, I don't know what you would call this, but these kind of strings that always form. That's the only thing that kind of drives me nuts. To be honest, I don't know. I got mine off of Amazon. It's by Bosch. It's a German brand, which I imagine is also available in the US, but I can't be sure. So yeah. And I'm sorry to kind of advertise a non-pink fresh tool here inadvertently, but yeah, as I said, a regular liquid glue just wouldn't cut it right now. So I hope that's okay, Heather. So it's basically, it's just, as I said, it's just a glue gun in shape of a pencil where you can screw this part, so you can screw those two pieces apart, put into batteries, and then you press the button, it heats up. Once it's heated up, it's green, and then it's ready to go. So it's a cordless glue gun. And so you would put in these small or tiny glue, I don't know what you call them, glue sticks. But I actually, so this is the package that I still have left from purchasing the glue gun. But I also, you could also just use the regular ones and cut them up into shorter pieces, smaller pieces. Okay, just the middle part left. And so I'm adding the smaller pieces in the end. So that's why I'm not adding them right now, because first I need to find a place for the large ones, for the dimensional ones, and then I can try and figure out where to put the rest. And I'm just trying, so there's no real rhyme or reason to the placement. I'm just trying to kind of alternate between vellum and some of the hand-painted paper leaves and different shapes. I have this one left. This one, and then I'm actually only missing one down here, but I think having just one in white looks a little bit strange. So I'm going to leave this empty for now and see if I will either cover it with an embellishment, or maybe go back and fold another leaf either with this green paper or with vellum later that I could add here. Because I don't want to add just one white leaf. Okay, so now I hope I didn't glue this whole thing to my mat. Okay. So now I can go back in and see where I can place the holly leaves. But I was thinking of, first of all, so my first idea was to put this on a white background. Well, I'm going to put my photo behind it, just to see if I now want to go with the large photo like this, or if I want to go with the two smaller ones, although for the two smaller ones, I should have left a space between the leaves. Let's see. Although that would be actually perfect to cover up this part here. Let me check something. So let me see. A bow would also work perfectly, Amy. That's true. I'm normally not one to use, or I very rarely use pattern paper as a background. But if I don't use the large photo, then it does look a little bit empty. Just checking if any of the papers work as a background for me. But I'm not too sure. I think the green, even though I like the green that I made, I think it's not working too well with the pattern papers. So let me, sorry for jumping around with my thoughts, but let me try something. So that was what I meant with kind of wrapping this whole thing around. And I have different sorts of ribbons and trims here that I could use. So I have this one, which is kind of cozy and perfect for winter, I think. Then just this kind of embroidery floss, or this gold one would look great too. You know, something like this. But I'm not convinced. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't look like I imagined it. So I'm going to try, first of all, what it would look like with a photo added here. So let me see what frames would work, because this sort of with the green, even though I like it with the leaves, it would actually be perfect, but the greens don't fit my greens, because this is more of a like Christmas kind of green and mine is a little bit blue. So even though I like the pattern on it, I don't like how it looks with my green. But this one might look cute. Memories. And then I could put the photo in there. Yep. Let's go with it. I'm going to, you know, because I have to get a move on. I'm going to frame my photo. It's a Bosch, Jennifer. It's the Bosch Gluey, I think it's called. Again, sorry, Heather, for plugging a different brand. I'm not sponsored or affiliated or anything with Bosch. Just want to make that clear. I bought it myself. I paid for it myself. I'm not getting any money for it. So I think that looks cute. I like how that looks, and it kind of solves the problem of the missing leaf in there. Now I'm going to check if I want to use the second photo as well. Maybe with a smaller frame. I think that would look cute as well. Then I could put it over here or in between, or like right next to each other. I think the red would look nice because it kind of, you know, is the color that berries would have. No, the green not. Or what about a round one? Nope. So actually I have the choice between either this one or the red one, but I think two pink ones I think the red one looks better instead of another pink one. And it just says like joyful, grateful, hopeful, and peaceful around it. I think that works well with my photo. Just trimming off the excess. And I love the chipboard frames. I always love the chipboard frames in every Pink Fresh collection. They're one of my favorite things in each collection. So, you know, I'm always happy to use them. And I actually like all of the light blue frames as well. And I love this light blue color in this collection. But I feel like it's, with my leaves, it's not, I think the pink and the red look better. Let's put it this way. It's, yeah. Okay. So now I can see if I put them right next to each other, or if I want to put the second one maybe kind of like in there, something like this. I'm going to decide once I have it on my page. But you know what? This kind of white arc here is kind of bugging me. And I don't want to, so the idea, even though I like the idea of wrapping the twine around, it just didn't look as I had imagined it. So what I'm thinking is putting part of a different paper, or cutting one of the pattern papers into the circle as well. But I would just need, no, the red is a bit too harsh. Let me check something. Trying to see if maybe just filling only the center instead of with a large photo with one of the pattern papers and then putting it on a white cardstock, if that maybe works. Not too busy. So you can see sometimes, you know, you can have an idea at the beginning, but it still doesn't really come out as you were thinking. So I'm sorry that I'm, you know, flipping around so much and just, I don't know, maybe. Nope. And again, it's not that I don't like the papers. I love the papers, but it's just that nothing is really looking as I imagined it would. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and try this paper behind it. I'm going to cut an 8-inch circle from it. Oh, there are lots of things that you could do on the background. It's just that I don't have the time for some of the ideas that I have. You could definitely go ahead and do some like stamping, embossing, stuff like that on your background. But it's just that I don't have the time for it. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's just not looking like I thought it would. I think the green is what's throwing me off. Again, it's a beautiful green, but it's just not working with the papers as I thought it would. But I'm actually kind of liking this now. So let's see. And as I said, I have to get a move on. I love this house paper, but I think it's going to be too busy with the leaves and my photos. So my photos will get a little bit lost. Although I do like it, you know, kind of framed. I'm going to try the large photo one last time. And the thing is, I could actually combine them and do the large photo, but also a small photo on top, because it's still the same subject. I think I actually like that better. Okay, one last thing I'm going to do before you all think I'm completely nuts. So, because when I go with the large photo now, I still have this white part up here. You're probably thinking, what the hell is she doing? But sometimes, you know, sometimes you have an idea in your head and you just have to try it out to see if it works. Even, you know, you kind of think it's probably not going to, but you just have to try it. So what I was thinking is that I could cover the part that is visible, you know, of the frame with part of this pattern paper. And I know I could have gone ahead and used this piece as my frame right from the beginning, then I wouldn't have had this issue. But it is what it is. I did not see it coming. All right, so I'm going to use regular liquid adhesive. Just going to I'm kind of sliding this underneath the leaf and basically just covering the white part with this second frame. And I'm going to cut it large enough so that it, so that it will go underneath the vellum leaf. Just a little bit of surgery here with this paper. And that's it. Okay. And now on to the photo. And for that, this time I'm going to use my tape runner because I don't want to smudge liquid adhesive all over my desk and my photo. And this is just to, to place it. So let's see, I want this, what do I want to put? So I think I'm going to put the second photo actually. And I'm trying to figure out if I want it more towards the right, because actually, so you can see here, my photo is kind of, that everyone is kind of towards the right side. It's there, we are not completely centered. So what I'm thinking is that I could also turn this wreath and have the leaves more on one side, and then put the second photo here where I don't cover up any important part of us. And then it's not, it's a little bit different. It's not as, I don't know, kind of the obvious choice, so to speak. So I'm trying to see. And you can see that there's a little open part here because my photo is not large enough, but I can easily just cover that up with just a holly leaf or something like that. So I'm not worried about that. Okay, so my photo is stuck down. I'm going to cut off the excess. And I'm just going to cut underneath the frame so I don't have to do it, neatly, because ain't nobody got time for that. And then once that is done, I can now go ahead and, because it's not enough dimension yet, I'm going to put a little bit of foam adhesive on the back so that this whole thing is lifted up off my page a little bit. And I'm not going to use too much. This is relatively thin, so it's not my thickest foam adhesive that I have. And you can see it's kind of wobbly because I printed my photo on some thin kind of photo paper. It's not like this thick, sturdy one, but I didn't have the regular photo paper in a large size anymore. So this is why this is kind of looking a little bit flimsy. And if you know me, you will know that I don't place my adhesive like right towards the edge so that I can still slide some things underneath. Thank you, everyone. I'm glad that you're enjoying it, and that this is kind of coming together, because as I said, sometimes you start with a plan, but then things just don't look like you imagined, and then you always, or at least me, especially in those lives, I feel the pressure to move on so that I can actually finish something here and show you something. But I feel like the most complicated part is done. Okay. And now just trying to make sure that I have it roughly centered. All right. Now for the photo on top of the photo. And this is what I meant. So now I'm not covering up any important part. You can still see everyone in the photo. No one is covered up. And I feel like, as I said, this sort of towards the left is kind of different and gives it a little bit of a different touch. Actually, I'm liking the 2 frames on top of that. So I will have to peel off one of the leaves because it will be completely covered up. So I'm going to place this one and this one. And I'm liking that. It's getting very dimensional. And I understand that this might not, might not be for everyone, but I'm liking how it's coming together. I have quite a few layouts that are way too dimensional to put them in an album, so I'm completely fine with that. I don't mind it. Now I just have to kind of stack up my foam adhesive high enough so that I can put the frames on top. Thank you so much, everyone. As I said, it's nice that, to hear that people are enjoying it, even when things are not kind of working out as you thought they would. So I'm actually having to use 4 layers of foam. Again, might be too much for some. You could definitely kind of tone down the whole dimension by not adding foam behind the photo and just leaving more space in between the leaves, so you could kind of nestle the frames in between and not having to put them on top. So there's definitely, ways to make it a little less dimensional. But this would also be a great gift to get, like, to put like your family Christmas photo or something in there, and then put the whole layout in like a shadow box frame. I think that would be a great gift to give, for grandparents or something. And then it doesn't matter that it's quite dimensional. Just having to hold this in place for a few seconds. I'm going to try it with liquid adhesive now, but it might be that I have to come back in, after the live is done and actually use my glue gun again to keep these photos in place, because I am sticking them to these folded leaves. So there's not a lot of plain surface that they can stick to. So now I can kind of put in these fussy cut holly leaves, and they have the red berries on them, which repeats the red in the frame, which is, works out perfectly. And the pink that in this frame is repeated in this pattern paper. So it all works out in the end. So I think that's going to be, I think I will add this leaf underneath, so it adds a little bit of height beneath the photos. And now for some more embellishments. So let's see, I had some puffy stickers that I wanted to use. Let's see. And I know I said in the beginning that I might want to add in a few of those elements, but to be honest, with those 2 photos and, adding those leaves with the berries, I think this would be too much. I still think, having like a full wreath and putting some of these in between to break it up would look great, but not with that many photos. I think that's too much. So unfortunately, no stenciling, embossing and things like that today. But then again, you can see lots of that from the card making team on the Pink Fresh channel. Let me see, Merry Everything. I'm trying to see if I want to add in the blue or not, if I want to keep it to those 3 to 4 colors, if we count that sort of gold gold color in the plaid. No, it's not. Is it plaid? It is plaid, right? Anyway. Okay, so I think I'm first going to add these in to see where I have some of these berries. And then I will add some red enamel dots as well to kind of mimic the berries again. And obviously I will have to pop these up with some foam adhesive. And yeah, as I said, so you could either do this as sort of like a gift for someone, or you could also make it part of your holiday decoration. So if you just put in your family photo, and you could still put it in a frame, put it up for the holidays, and then put it away with your Christmas decorations once Christmas is over, and then get it out next year. Lots of ideas for that. And I know I have like tons of different foam adhesives that I kind of switch around here, but I promise there's actually a reason to that, because they have different thicknesses, they have different sizes, so you know there's actually a rhyme and reason to why I'm using which foam adhesive when. Right here. Trying to figure out if I want to put something up there or not, because I kind of like that it would balance it out a little bit, because it's very heavy on this side of the wreath, but there's not a lot on this side. But I could also keep this for my title, whatever the title is going to be. I don't know, to be honest. So this one I'm actually going to adhere directly to the page, a little bit tucked behind the wreath. And that's why I said I never put my adhesive right towards the edge, because now I can kind of put this underneath and have it, you know, come out from behind the wreath. And that kind of what word am I looking for? Enhances this effect of dimension. So if I have everything on the same level, you don't have this effect of dimension that much. But now that I have like different levels of height, you have this sort of dimension, I think. Exactly. So that's what I was thinking, Roxanne, to have like a curved title, either with, so the small puffy alpha stickers would be perfect to put on the frame directly because they fit inside perfectly. Or if it's a larger title, or it's you want to use the large alpha stickers, which are these ones, then you could put it on the outside and put it around here. And that way you kind of balance out this heavy part of the wreath. But I can't think of a title right now, so I might add that at the end or after the live. So I'm not going to put down a title right now because I can't think of anything, and I don't want to just put, or maybe I will put a very generic title in the end. I don't want to say I won't, and then I actually might. So I'm going to come in and place just a few enamel dots around this page, and I'm going to use the same colors as in the frame and the paper. So the light pink, red, and this kind of mustard, gold, yellowish tone. And you could definitely also use like the crystals or jewels from Pink Fresh. That would look great too. And I'm not sure if you have seen the new, what are they called? I have to look it up real quick. The new clear drops, the scarlet ones, which are unfortunately sold out because they probably look like the perfect holly berries. They would look great here as well, but obviously lots of people already had that idea for Christmas. But enamel dots always work. I can never have enough enamel dots. So I'm going to keep it at that with the enamel dots, checking if there's anything from the puffy sticker sheets that I want to use. And as I said, I will add my title later. Just checking real quick the comments to see if there are any questions. I think not. If I missed any question, and please just ask again. I promise I'm not ignoring you. Actually, there also, I almost forgot, there's also this title ephemera pack. So there might be something in here that I could use, although there's probably not something that's curved in the way that I need. But still, you know, I think I will look through this after this live session. And if I can't find anything there, then I'm going to make my own title. Just checking real quick if there's anything in the cardstock stickers that I want to add. So I don't really have a lot of space left for large pieces, and I don't want to add any more large pieces because I don't want to take away from my photos. And as I said, it's already quite busy. And I will have to glue these two leaves down, and I will probably have to go back in with the glue gun to adhere my photos because they don't want to stick. But that's okay. I really kind of want to work in this candy cane. So I think it looks cute, kind of peeking out. Adds a little something. This. And let's see. I think this is the last piece that I'm going to add right now. Don't forget, you can win a $15 gift card for the Pink Fresh shop. And in a few minutes, Heather is going to randomly pick a winner. So all you have to do is be active in the chat. And for example, if you shared this video somewhere or gave it a thumbs up, which we would always love, then let us know in the chat. And that way you also get another entry for the giveaway. I think that Christmas tree looks cute. Okay, maybe one more thing. Trying to see if there's one more small puffy sticker that I can sneak in somewhere. I actually like the green one because it repeats the shape of the frames. So we have like this large square, a smaller square, and then another even smaller square. So I have like 3 squares on this page. And I like to have things repeated in 3s. So I'm actually quite happy with how this looks, even though it looks almost nothing like I imagined in the beginning. Just checking real quick if there's anything else here. Maybe one more vellum poly leaf. Nope. Nope. Okay. And I think the camera, I think there was nothing else that I wanted to add. So as I said in the beginning, I have all of these die cut pieces left, but I don't think I will work any of those in because this would be too much. Like the snowflakes, even though they are really pretty, but this is just too much. This page is already quite full. And actually, one of those would work great instead of a title, like Christmas Hugs and Love. So yeah, as for the title, it will be a sort of surprise. I'm not going to lift up this layout too much because, as I said, some of the pieces are not completely adhered down. But I am going to tilt it a little bit so that you can see the dimension. So these are the 2 leaves that I still have to glue down, and the frames again. But other than that, adding my title, and I think that's going to be it. So I hope that you enjoyed it. Hola, Silvina. Saludos a Chile. So fun that you are joining as well. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to flip my camera, and in that time, Heather can pick a winner. Okay, so the winner today is Jennifer Donovan. Congratulations. You won today's $15 gift card to the Pink Fresh store. All you have to do to claim it is email leah@pinkfreshstudio.com. That's LEA. To claim your prize and give her, 2 to 3 days to get back to you. And then you can go look for some Christmas goodies or whatever you want in the Pink Fresh store. Yeah, so I don't know, time kind of flew by, at least for me today. And I hope, as I said, I hope you enjoyed it. I am quite happy with how it turned out, even though, as I said, it's almost nothing like I imagined. But still, I had a great time and it was fun to work with this new collection. And I can't wait to create some more with it. I will share my finished layout in the Pink Fresh Facebook group in a few days. First I have to get it done and then I have to photograph it, which in winter is a little bit of a pain in the you-know-what. But anyway, so thank you so much for joining, everyone. Thank you, Heather, for helping out, for being, behind the scenes. And I will see you in 4 weeks. And in 2 weeks, it will be Natalie with another Scrapbook Live. And then next week, I think it's Leah again. So yeah, thank you, everyone. Have a great day and bye.